My name is James Dickerson, doing super fantastic, charged up with positive energy, exuberant, excited about life, ready to face my next challenge with courage and enthusiasm. If I was doing any better, my smile would be a socially intrusive, maladaptive behavior. Jacked out of my mind, I ain't taking none of it back. And I need all of y'all right now to just come on and give it up for me right now. Thank you very much for that. You know, I give the energy and I just wanted to come right back. You hear me?
Amen.
So, you know, you're going to give whatever you give, you're going to get it back. But you don't get it back in greater abundance than what you put it out.
Amen.
So I love the fact that here on Monday nights, this is something that takes place every Monday at 6 p.m. without fail. We open the doors for anyone who is business minded, who has a business or aspires to do so, to come out and to participate with us here at NexCore. And NexCore is an incredible facility. I am a member here at NexCore. And any other members of NexCore in the house? Yes? Yes. NexCore is an incredible place. Magic happens here at NexCore. And if you're a creative, you want to be at NexCore. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to be at NexCore. If you just want, if you have something, if you're an independent sales rep for a company, you want to come here and hang out at NexCore. If you're if you're an artist of some type, if you want to do a podcast, there's a podcast studio here at NexCore. There's a lot of cool things that go on here, and you want to take advantage of the offer that's right in front of you on the table. That says that by participating with Global 1000, you get your first 2 weeks here at NexCore and no cost. That's so that you can test drive it. Who would buy a car that they didn't test drive anyway, right? Okay. So you get to test drive it, and I'm going to tell you, when it comes to co-working spaces, some co-working spaces are Pintos, some are Cadillacs, and then some are Bentleys. This one is the Bentley co-working space, and so much so you can't even call it that. And NexCore is in collaboration with Global 1000, which I'm very proud to be able to say. I've been rolling with Global 1000 for about 3 years. So I've been rolling about 3 years, but it's been rolling now for about 6 years or something like that. This is the 6th year? Yeah, 6 years is gonna be there. This is the 6th year this year. So it's been going for a while. And it started several years ago in 2014. Obviously, you did the math. When there was unrest, some people would call it the unrest in Ferguson, right? There was something that sparked there when a young man was lying on the concrete for 4.5 hours after being murdered with his hands up in the air. And there was a gentleman who saw the unrest and said that there has to be some solutions. And he identified what the real problem was. That the real problem wasn't social problems. The real problem was economic, because you don't have murdered young men like Mike Brown Jr., who just graduated from high school and getting ready to go to college the next day. You don't have that happen on economically empowered Canfield drives. So Dr. Elance McCarthy said that you can only solve economic problems with economic solutions and not social ones, and started Ferguson 1000, and it spread across the country, city by city, and eventually became Global 1000. And you have many different events that are taking place all over the country now. There's wealth summits, and Dr. Lance is going to come in a moment to tell you what's coming up next with the 1000. I'm just the guy that likes to get up here and warm the crowd up and get everybody excited about this thing, just so that you can know what it's really all about and what we come here for. You know, and then realize that every Monday we also have food. So some Mondays, you know, I might have to tell you to pull out some money to buy it, because the food be good, right? I'm just saying, the food is great every week. And it's sponsored by NexCore. You hear me? and provided by Rossway Kitchen. You see her banner up there on the wall. Rossway Kitchen is owned and operated by Fatima Ross, who's actually the daughter of one of the owners of NexCore. And Fatima Ross provides the food here every Monday. And if I was you, I'd snap a picture of that banner on that wall. I'd link with Fatima, and I'd use her for my next corporate event or some social gathering that you're doing, and also do the event here at NexCore. That's what I would do if I was you. That's what I would do. Touch 3 people and tell them that's what I would do too. It's something like business church here, right? That's what we call it. So what I'm going to do is get out of the way, and I want to present to some and introduce to others my friend and business partner, Dr. Elance McCarthy. Come on, Doc.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have missed you all. I've been on the road for about 3 weeks, and I want to thank both James Dickerson and Bishop Llewellyn for continuously the event and strategy we do for a Monday night. Our goal is always to empower and inspire you and also give you information on what's going on here in the St. Louis area, because our goal is to make sure that we are assisting Black businesses in growth. So we try to provide resource information, connections, networking, etc., and also just some inspiration. People come and share their stories. One thing we're very excited about on Monday nights is that people are transparent. They talk about everything. And so the more real we are, the more we're able to do business and move the agenda forward. So what we're going to do is Bishop already prayed. We're going to go around the room, introduce yourself, say who you're with and who you are. I'll give you an update of what we're doing with Global 1000, and then we'll have our great speaker share his story tonight. All right? So I do bring in the lady here.
I'm Ariana, known as Ari. I'm 25. I have an online boutique. I sell ladies' accessories and jackets. So mainly, when people think of accessories, they think of, everything like bells, headbands, all that. But I mainly specialize in handbags and earrings and sunglasses.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm in the process of starting a blog, and I need to learn how to code. So it's like I'm kind of all over the place.
Awesome, that's
So
fine.
I'm just here to just network
Great.
and gain knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
All right. I'm going to link with you about that.
Yes, sir.
My name is Eddie Mahayel, and I came here to network.
Welcome.
My name is Lamar Harris. I'm with Mind Speak Consulting. Just here hanging out.
Me?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chrissy Burleson. My company is Ridiculous Grind LLC, and what we specialize in is real estate and financial services. I specialize personally in creative financing and deal structuring, and what I'm focusing on now is just ownership, making sure that I can help as many people this year going forward take ownership.
Awesome.
Hallelujah.
Hello, everyone. I am Gervais Johnson of J-Bar Photography. I do a lot of portraits and fashion, but really what I aim to do is bring out the best in others and visually present that so the world can see just how good you already are. It's a pleasure being here.
Awesome.
All right.
I'm Ron Llewellyn. I'm the Ferguson, the space-based director for Ferguson 1000, Global 1000.
I'm Robert Spence. I'm here to network. I'm also the owner prior to CBS Barbecue and Cafe Brownstone's Catering, as well as I have a spice rub line that just launched a little less than a year ago. It's Robert's Barbecue Rub, Robert's Fried Seasoning, Robert's All-Purpose Seasoning, and sometime around Memorial Day of this year, I'll be relaunching Robert's Original Barbecue Sauce.
All right, my man.
Awesome. Awesome.
Excellent.
I am Dana Kelly. I am the owner of the firm, executive director over the Women's March, and I'm a financial specialist and business consultant for the city of St. Louis, and a public figure for the city of St.
Yes,
Louis.
you are.
On everything St. Louis.
That's right. That's right.
Yay.
And so much other stuff, but I will not bore y'all with that.
Well, you know, Morris, you do a lot. We appreciate you.
But I've been meaning to catch, I'm actually here for a Monday night, so I wanted to get
Awesome.
in and slide.
Glad you're here.
Hey everyone, my name is Adam Hopkins. I am the owner and founder of Modern Dojo Design, the brand strategy company. We also focus a lot on media stuff, so that's video, graphics, anything of that space. I'm also the executive director of Conscious Fest, an annual festival built to empower and educate the Black community through poetry, music, and art. I'm also the acting chair of Urban League Young Professionals Marketing. Acting marketing chair for Urban League Professionals. So anything marketing, you should have some time with me. If you want some questions answered, for free. I don't want to charge any, I give information out regardless. I want everyone to know what it looks like to have good branding and good marketing. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me afterwards and we'll talk. Thanks.
He's excellent.
Did you already know that? Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
anyway.
Okay. I'm just dropping in quickly, but my name is Pamela Davis. I'm the founder of Queen of Resilience. The Queen of Resilience is an organization primarily for women to teach them how to be resilient in every area of their life by increasing mental health awareness, mentorship, and professional development. So we go into high schools and the colleges and talk about mental health and how you deal with hostile working environments and deal with grief as well. I had a partnership last year with Harrisville State University with their Upper Bound program, Talent Search, and Upper Bound program. And by day, I am a HR professional and I'm a motivational speaker and singer. So.
Awesome. You gonna sing a song for us?
Oh, I know.
If you don't sing, I
I have a musician on the left side. No.
Put them out.
Right.
will. Lamar.
That's it.
Say
Great.
you know who you is.
Those who came in late, we have some food over here. You can grab a plate because it's chow mein. I don't want it to get cold, so you want to do that. So I want to give you an update on Global 1000, some of the great things that we're doing. I have had the same email address now for 15 years, I believe, under Dr. Finance. I believe that equity financing is the major source of strategy for African Americans. I was just in New Jersey and was a keynote speaker for the African American Chamber, and he asked, what do you want to do? I said, I want to continue to provide equity. So a lot of times, we create the business to go try to find the funding. But we have focused on getting the funding, and then now we bring the deal. So I just want to update you all on some great financing partnerships that we have created. Most recently, one of the things that we have done in the restaurant industry, let me give you a little overview of the economics of restaurants. Last year, the restaurant industry did $869 billion. 1 million restaurants around the country, responsible for 10% of the workforce. We've done a lot of cooking, right? We've made a lot of people rich in the cooking side, but not owning, right? Also, there's 7 billion people in the world. Over the next 10 to 15 years, that's going to double, which means the food consumption is going to be 3 times. That's why you got the fake crab and all this stuff, because you have to create ways to be able to supply the food. So we've been very fortunate to connect with a equity fund and a management fund to grow African American brands. No disrespect against established brands. We've had brothers and sisters who've made tons of money in the franchising system of somebody else's franchise. So now we're looking for those local, regional restaurants all across the country that may have 1, 2, or 3 locations and want to expand nationwide. Our first deal, we just approved Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. That's what I was out there for a week in Los Angeles. You know the brand. We're going to assist them in going nationwide as well as helping them get their food into Costco's and Walmart's and things of that nature. So if you know any restaurants around the country that have local presence, 1, 2, or 3 locations, and want to be able to expand, we can assist them in that perspective, because we want to be able to grow African American brands in the restaurant business based on what's happening across the country. So that's one of the equity pieces that we have. The other one is we have not been around. We are deeply in the cannabis industry. It's not federal yet, so of course it's difficult for cannabis organizations to get financing and banking. We have a national partnership on the banking side. So we know that Missouri just passed theirs for medical marijuana, as well as Illinois has passed recreation and medical. Matter of fact, you know, the first week in the year of January, I think we did about Illinois did about $3.4 million for the first weekend. So we want to be able to be on the banking side. This is banking dispensaries and on cultivation, where we can assist in the banking, providing everything from point of sale system, merchant banking, ATMs, even transferring that. So that's something, again, all our things are nationwide, so we know you know people all across the country, and our goal is not only to inform you, but also to help you make money. And so we're trying to share those things with you from that perspective. We just came back from the Super Bowl. We did a pitch session. Our goal is to find as many black tech firms as possible. We partnered with a group called Alpha Connector in Miami, and so we found about 7 new up-and-coming technology companies. Matter of fact, one is a restaurant platform, so we're excited about that. So again, we want you to understand what we're doing here locally, but also nationally. Our goal is to create 100 black millionaires through black tech and other mechanisms. So we share information that can be duplicated and scaled across the country for you to be able to assist yourself and other people. Because again, for the last 25 years, Milken Foundation, Kauffman Foundation, every foundation in the country has done research on the lack of equity financing. Only 1% of equity financing comes to African American businesses. And so we wanted to change that. Not that we don't have a great idea, don't have a great infrastructure, don't have the great concepts, it's been the lack of equity. And you can only get so much in debt financing. It is what it is. If you want to start a business and grow your business, you know, you got a house, you get a second mortgage, you may get a profit after 2 years, you go back again and try to refinance it. Take you 10 years to open 3 businesses, where if you had an equity investor, you can roll a little quicker. And so that's been the premise of my research in my book, Wall Street to the Hood, how you get equity financing for that mechanism. So that's our objective, and we're very excited about the partnerships that we're doing. And again, our goal is to help go across the country. Any questions on that? Great. Well, we're going to bring up a great speaker today. He's known for both his music, his teaching, his education. I always tell people I'm a musician, and so when you have a musician as a DJ, they hear it differently, and they spin it differently. And so if you have not been fortunate to hear our next guest speaker, he's one of the best DJs that I've heard, because not only does he play the music, but he's literally playing trombones and trumpets and things of that nature. Been an educator. He has a great event that's coming up, and anything that's touched St. Louis on a high level, he's participated in it. Let's give a round of applause, Mr. Lamar Harris, a.k.a. DJ.
Yeah. Hey, best arrangement of crazy you ever heard.
How's everybody doing?
Thank you.
I promise I won't be before you too long. Force it happen. Like I teach with kids and stuff like that, so I'm always like making sure I'm always on time. So kids can look at me like it's lunch. We gotta go. So I don't want to hold everybody too long. My name is Lamar Harris. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Grew up in Painesville, Missouri. Born and raised. Me and my mother had the same teachers through high school. We both went to Normandy. So everybody knew who I was by the time I got there, so it wasn't doing too much anything crazy because everybody knew whose son I was. Graduated from there, went to the University of Missouri at Columbia against my will. That's where my mother decided that's where we're going to send you. I can go to Jackson State. I can go to FAM. We're not coming to get you. We're not sending you. We're not giving you no money. You're going right up the street, so if we need to lay hands on you, we close. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? I want to go somewhere I want to go. Stayed there for about 4 years until we were all on the same scholarship, the African American Achievement Award, until our junior year we showed up to financial aid, get our wonderful refund check, and there was no refund check.
Shut up!
Oh, it was
That's
real.
right.
You know, it's not like people passing out like, Lord, I ain't got no refunds. But stayed there a couple more years, left there, came back home, wandered around the city, tried to work in a bunch of odd jobs, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Eventually, I landed playing in a few different groups. I'm a trombone player, as Dr. Land said, but I play like all brass instruments, keys and stuff. And a friend of mine was like, hey, you should come teach in my school. And he told me what the school was. I'd never heard of it. Crossroads College Preparatory School. Went there, interviewed, got the job, started out with 4 kids in the program. By the time I left, 75% of the student body was inside of the music program. Left there in 2010, decided to strike out on my own a little bit and be an entrepreneur. One of the best and one of the most trying times of my life. I always tell people, you know, entrepreneurship isn't a fad for real if you're a real entrepreneur. I mean, you are committed to it like you committed to waking up in the morning, doing what it is that you got to do, for not only for yourself, but for your family, and to be able to execute your dreams. The company that I started in 2010, me and a friend of mine had a company called Ilwas, which if life was a sound. Out of that morphed another company when my mother passed called Mindspeed Consulting. One of the things, last conversations me and my mother had was, what do you really want? And you know, I told her I want it all. I want everything. I want whatever my heart desires. And she just looked at me like, that's a lot, you know, so realistically, what do you want? Well, I just want to be respected as a businessman and a business owner. And I just always told her some of the struggles I was having. Nobody would ever sit and they always want to hire you to play, but they don't want to partner with you on the event. Or they don't want to sow dollars into what you're doing, but it's okay to sit there and here's your money, come and do the event, boom, 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 and you go on your merry way, but there's no equity being invested to us building something that we can grow together. And my mother just calmly said, well, sometimes you just need a boost. And she gave me a boost. Even in death, she gave me a boost.
Yes, sir.
Out of that grew another idea that I had called Soundwave Comic Expo, which is actually happening February 22nd, which I'll get to in a second. I kind of wrestle a little bit like what to kind of talk about today. You know, like I can go on and on about my resume, stuff I've been through. If you're a fan of Alvin Ailey and you're going to see Alvin Ailey Dance Company, the first 25 minutes will be music that I did. I'm blessed and
Yes,
fortunate.
sir. Yes, sir.
I played with people like Sheely, Fred Wesley. I've had a chance to play with Eric Badu, Cy Smith, Frank McComb, Zoe, a bunch of people from the Foreign Exchange. Blessed and fortunate with that. I've done a decent amount. My mother would say I've done more than the average check. That was her favorite saying to us. But the one thing I feel I haven't done is be able to get over what I call this wall as a business owner, to kind of piggybacking off of something you were saying earlier, Dr. Lance, as far as just being the complete owner and having the type of equity investment that's needed to be able to execute all the things that I want to execute that line up in need. And sometimes when you're creating businesses, it gets frustrating. You look around, it doesn't seem like these people are investing into you or they're not sowing in you. But they're always asking you to come and do something for free. I have to reverse that. Even I found myself sometimes doing that to other people. One of my former students, I'd ask them, hey, you know, can you come and be a part of this? Yeah. What's the budget? Well, normally you don't get paid to do stuff like this. We just come in, you know. And he sat there and said, yeah, you know, I like you, Lamar. You always cool. But I can't do nothing. It's free. You should know better than that. I was like, hey man, you know, it's me, you know. I mean, I'm trying to build it, we bootstrapping it. But when I sit and think about it, he's actually right. But I should have put myself in a better position to be able to support him in his dreams and his endeavors. So I say that to say that it's kind of like a system that it's almost like it just keeps going around. It's almost like Dante's Inferno, where we'll jump on at certain times and we'll complain about something, but the same thing we're complaining about is the same thing we're actually doing. And I'll even get guilty of it. So I can't sit there and say, hey, come and invest into me, and I don't invest into anybody else.
Come on.
I think just as an artist, artists love doing their art, but artists also like being business people. We are business. We just happen to be the business. If we don't get up and do what we do, there's no money. But at the same time, we want to be able to do other things, which takes money. And some of the things I've learned as a business owner just over time is building relationships. There was a workshop I went to on Friday, and it was the Black Educators Symposium. Over 1,500 educators there, which is kind of a phenomenal feat to get that many people on a Friday night in one place. Because you know, after you get through teaching with kids, grown folks, you wind up at the hole in the wall trying to get to your happy place. But all these wonderful educators there, and there were some great speakers. And the superintendent of University City had a wonderful presentation. And one of the slides she talked about was education and relationships. And education is understanding relationships. As a business owner, you have to understand the relationships of building with other entrepreneurs and also building with the younger generation of entrepreneurs. That's one thing I always kind of found interesting the older I get. I'm now not embarrassed to say I'm 44 years old, you know, but you look at some of your mentors and it's like, hey man, you know, I'm working on X, Y, and Z. Why ain't you lending a hand and helping, you know, or at least giving some advice, you know, you give me, which I love, but I'm like, hey, you know, we need some dollars to help out. And it's kind of an interesting thing to see where we are building as a generation, and in this moment in time, are we really truly building a chain to be able to help the next person really come across the bridge? If we go back to New Jack City, you know, am I my brother's keeper? Are you really seriously helping keep your brother and helping him in his time of need or her time of need and bringing them across? You know, I ain't saying support everything, but there should be some time where the helicopter fly down and you just quietly swoop them up, you know, like, hey, here you go. Everybody at least gets one. And then you fly back. But at least there's something to be able to support other business owners, support the younger generation. At the same time, support the older generation. Sometimes, you know, people have worked all their lives and they're just starting their business at a certain age, where other people have reversed it. Been an entrepreneur, I've got a friend, he's been an entrepreneur since, I think, like his 20s. And it's kind of funny, you look around, it's like, what are you doing now? I'm working a job. Like a job?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because the health insurance is good.
Come on now.
I mean, you know, and he just sat there and said, hey, why should I retire having to work hard? I've done that, and I'm still doing that, but I've actually taken some of that and put it right here, and I'm going to retire on their dime and use their insurances, their benefits, everything that they got. So it's a different system for different strokes for different folks. I don't believe that there's like one solution or one dynamic phrase that's going to sit there and spark everything. It is tailor-made to your particular situation. But the one thing I would say, inside of your situation or whatever it is that you're building towards or aspiring to, is make sure that you support and leave some type of legacy to be able to help the next person come across the bridge. Some of the things that I'm involved in, and we live streaming this, that's why I'm stutter stepping this, because I can't really say some of the stuff that you know, I really want to say. I mean, just as being real, because you know, it's St. Louis, so you know, and I do a lot of work with a lot of different people, so they will probably chime in and see what I'm not really going to be talking about. So I apologize for seeming like I'm stutter stepping, but sometimes people, just like I say, don't really want to invest in everything that we're doing. And as an artist, you find yourself battling stuff that you normally shouldn't even be battling. When we're dealing with the business side of things or the marketing side of things, dealing with booking companies, dealing with this company, dealing with this group. They hire you for certain things, but again, is my money getting here on time? Are you selling me for more than what I'm actually asking? Are you sitting there taking more than what you're saying that you're taking? Are you also doing other things that are hindering me from actually growing as an artist? Are you giving me all the opportunities that are deserved to me? And as a business owner, whether you're selling handbags, selling food, spices, or marketing or doing any of that stuff, you have to kind of just always just be mindful of surrounding yourself with good people who understand how to properly build with you and build a good, strong chain. Good example, I don't know how much this building costs, but you know, do we have like 5 people, or do you have 5 people in your circle right now that we all can put down 10 grand right here, right now?
Shut up.
Let's lower it. How about 5?
Do you ask it?
I'm just curious. You know, and I'm actually, it's kind of rhetorical, but you know, in a future sense, I mean, I belong to a couple of different other organizations, and it's kind of interesting. Everybody's got ideas, but when it comes to like, hey, you know, well, what you got on?
Put up some bread.
You know, I mean, you know, I don't do a lot of stuff, and I sacrifice for the things that I do. And I save my money and I try to invest my money back into the business. The business just happens to be me, and the other business is education, which is dealing with youth. I have another program called From the Lab that I had built out of my partnership with Opera Theater St. Louis and Terrence Blanchard. Out of that, I kept it going. Instead of having like 15 kids, we only had 10 this year, which was kind of cool because we brought them to the studio, they recorded, they did their own thing, they managed their own expectations, they asked the questions that they needed to ask to build their business and their brand and be able to get themselves in a position whether to go in a career or go to college. And it was just trying sometimes, you know, because it's like, how's that being paid for? The first thing people look at, well, you the money man. I ain't the money man, I just work. I mean, that's why I be walking around looking tired, dragging on Sunday morning. You can show look tired, I am. But I believe in my mission. And as an entrepreneur, I just encourage you to just keep going. If that is your mission and you are fully in that thing for real, stay in it. I know sometimes it gets a little tiring. I know sometimes it seems like nobody's really paying attention, but just keep at it. Somebody somewhere is watching.
Yes, sir.
You never know who's paying attention. A friend of mine, Demond Meek, said years ago, image is important. And one of the things that he said there and always engraved is people always watching how you walk in the room, how you carry yourself, sometimes the things that you say. How do they say them? How do you say them? What are you doing in your spare time? What are you doing when you're in the public eye? And the older I get, I find myself having to shift a lot of things around just to be able to, you know, hold true to that because I forgot. I'm a teacher. So, you know, I got elementary kids watching me. I got former students watching me. I've got parents watching me. I've got grandparents watching me. I got the church watching me. And sometimes it gets to be a lot, but it actually keeps you on your toes to make sure you stay true to the mission. Is there any questions, anything? Because I can just talk all day about a whole bunch of stuff.
You got it, bro.
Yes. In the last 30 seconds before I get in trouble. I'm doing an event called Soundwave Comic Expo. I am a kid at heart, if you can't tell by my Avengers jacket with my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff on and my X-Men brand. I am a kid by trade. This is something that I quietly wanted to do for some years. And if you're not into cosplay, if you're not into superhero culture, if you're a nerd like myself and geek culture, this is the event for you. We're having cosplay contests, gaming, we're having an arcade, we also have board games, we also have, I'm excited and blessed and fortunate to be able to have the Repertory Theater performing, Polka Dots, and Metro Theater Company performing. Which I go back to the importance of relationships. We also have a Hall of Heroes being designed by Felia Davenport, which is one of the best designers in the Midwest. She does work for the Muni, for Opera Theater, for the Rep, you name it. Along with Brandon Vaughn, who actually has a shop on Cherokee, Brandon Vaughn Collections. We also have a real Wakandan throne being built as we speak. By a friend of mine by the name of Peter Spack. Him and his wife Marjorie do pretty much all the major set designs, whether it's for Shakespeare in the Street, the Repertory Theater, New Jewish, they do it all. It's going to be a wonderful event. It's child friendly from 10 to 6 on that Saturday. Since most of you all are business owners, if anybody just wants a table, I will give you a table for free.
Oh, man.
Wow.
No cost. All right.
Wow.
Just email me,
Yes, sir.
and I'll just give you the table. It's a vendor. Just show up at 8 o'clock. You free to. We open up the doors at 10. Free to bounce by 5. One of the things, even in doing this and even gathering some of the sponsors, I was having a conversation with a couple people, and I started talking about some of the workshops that we want to do, because we are having workshops, not only on costume design, but also like the science behind like a super villain. So we've got a wonderful friend of mine, Danielle Lee. She's a biologist. There'll be an engineer in the room where we talk about what really makes a super villain and the sciences behind it, which is actually pretty cool. But one of the things that I was telling somebody I wanted to do was a workshop on economic empowerment and also investing. And you'd be surprised, most of the financial institutions you approach, everybody said that, said, what do you want to do that for? Why wouldn't you want to do that with a bunch of people that are creatives and artists who want to learn how to sit there and pull their business forward? Why wouldn't you want to do that? I was at a con a couple years ago, the first time I actually went to one. I can't call it a state, somebody may figure it out. And I was in a workshop, and one lady kept asking, how do we do certain things? How do we do? One lady kept responding, oh, grants. I'm like, that's nice. Why don't you tell me what grants or where do we go to find the grants?
Come on now.
And it's always just been interesting. We don't want to share information like you were saying earlier because we're so scared of somebody taking everything from us. You live in a different state. I live in a different state.
Boom.
Abundance mindset. So we should be able to sit and be able to share the information, because what you're going to do and what I'm going to do, what she's going to do, what she's going to do, what he's going to do is all going to be different. So it shouldn't even matter. And putting this together has been very interesting. I'm already quietly planning for year 2, like, oh Lord, what shall we do differently? But it's again about building relationships. I don't take my relationship with Metro Theater or the Repertory Theater for granted. I don't take the relationship with my bank, which I actually bank at Great Southern, actually. A lot of people are like, why would you bank at Great Southern? Because when I first opened my business account, they were nice. When they changed, and they started off as Fifth Third, and then when they changed to Great Southern, they were still nice. I go in there, everybody smiles, they talk to me, you know, I can joke around, you know, you get a phone call, hey, you know, this calendar slid into the negative, don't you? You want this late fee to hit? I'm like, okay, I'm on my way.
Woo.
I appreciate you.
Oh.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
You know, I mean, that's just real.
Yes, sir.
So why not put my money where somebody's putting the trust to build the relationship?
Yes, sir.
So I'm grateful for them coming on as a sponsor. And one of the things, like I said, whenever you're doing certain things, I think you definitely need help. And sometimes it's just building a relationship. Sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes they'll respond back. Sometimes they'll give you the shuffling and okie dokie shuffle around like, I will get back to you. Sometimes they'll give you a bunch of lip service. But sometimes people put their money where their mouth is. The main thing is, if they do put their money where their mouth is, you need to make sure you deliver.
That's right.
I'll say that again. You need to make sure you deliver. If you are putting on an event and you know you've not properly prepared to do that event, either cancel it, tell people that, hey, we're going to pause at a later time, give them the option to get their money back, or sit there and be like, hey, you want to invest it for the later date, but do not sit there and do something that is not all the way done.
Yes.
Because it has implications for everyone. This may look like something childish, but when you look at like something like this in San Diego Comic-Con,
Yes, sir.
economic boost is their gross is $22 million a year
Yes, sir.
Jeez.
for 3 days of people running around in superhero costumes.
Yeah.
Talk data, bro.
It's
Talk data.
It's for real.
Somebody like, why would you want to do it in February? That doesn't make any sense. Why not do it in February?
Never wrong.
Because when you look at like most people's like quarters and look at everything from from a quarter standpoint, normally the first quarter is a little slow. People coming off of New Year's, people that went broke for Valentine's Day quietly. So after that, we trying to pick up maybe for spring break, but normally the first quarter is not always the greatest for the majority of businesses. So when you got something that's driven by minorities, because I'm the owner, David Gordon is the other owner.
Yes, sir.
We both just happen to be black. So it's technically a black business and a black own company that's coming into a district to bring dollars to be able to spend. I'm grateful also for Grand Center, in case this is being live streamed still, for opening up the opportunity to be able to reach out to other business owners and to help cultivate those relationships. I'm also a firm believer I don't go in nobody's yard without reaching out to the surroundings and see, hey, we're in your neighborhood. We want to be able to work with you. We want to be able to invest with you. We want to be able to support your business. Surprisingly, a lot of people have gotten back to us, which one company sat there and said, I appreciate you actually even calling us. Nobody even says anything to us. Like, why? They just act like we're just part of the system or we just don't exist. Well, wow. So relationships are important. And I'll just encourage you to, whatever you're doing, just take the time, build out the infrastructure like you need to. It's all trial and error. There's no formula. A lot of this stuff I just be jumping in. I'm afraid of myself, you just run and just jump, don't you? Well, why not? I'm like, what else I got to lose right now at this moment in time? So, I mean, I want something. And when you want something big and you want to dream for something big, it's not going to come easy. It's not going to be handed to you. It's not going to be walked in on a platter like, here it is right here. These are only the two little things you got to go through. It's trial and error. Sometimes it may work. Sometimes it may not. Sometimes people may get on board. Sometimes people not. Sometimes people will stab you in the back and take everything. I watched one of my ideas come to fruition quietly that I had a conversation with somebody about 2 years ago, and they asked me, how did we do blah, blah, blah. Well, if you want to do that, we can do this, we can do that. We can get this group, we can get this group, we can put these people together, call so-and-so, they'll be right on board, and then you see a flyer come across your page, you're like, wow.
Wow.
Word?
I'm like, okay. And I actually went to the event, I was like, man, this is cool. Thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, I know where you got this from, I know where your data came from, I know what you just did. But you can't, it's one of those things, you can't say stuff all the time. And one of the things I'm getting a little bit better at, just as a business owner, and I'm not a Tyler Perry fan like that, but he said something I have to agree with. When they won't let you sit at the table, we go build you a table.
That's right.
So we're building, it's a group of us around that are building a different type of table.
Yes, sir.
So again, as a photographer, cats don't want to sit there and exchange information, do this and that, find a table or build you a different table. As a person that's doing accessories, if people don't want to sit there and partner with you, like, hey, you do dresses, you do fashion, here are the accessories, find a table, build you a table, somebody will come sit at it eventually. And as a company that's doing marketing and branding, they should be talking to you all day long. Singer, vocalist, business and food. We need all of that stuff. We should also all be able to get together, sometimes put our money together and buy a hotel. Buy stuff that makes some real money. A lot of times people want to play short ball, but not long.
Yeah.
I'm in this for the long game. This ain't gonna happen overnight. I may go somewhat broke, but it's worth it in the end if I can get the touchdown and get it to the end zone like I need to. And I think as business owners, sometimes it's different if you have a business that I'm only going to do this for 4 years. This is just a bunch of little short things in order for me to get to the end game. But you at least need to know what the end game may be, or at least know what game that you're playing. Just for me as an entrepreneur and as an artist, I have a different type of end game. I would love to see us own a lot more stuff that generates a lot more income. I love to see us not just talk about going to get the block. We need to really go buy the block from them.
Yes, sir.
If it was like 40 of us got together and all of us decided we're just going to buy the street, the properties make between $5, $4, maybe $2,000. Not the greatest neighborhood, but if we own the street, we can do what we need to.
Yes, sir.
Just to let you know, I'm working on that right now. Working on that initiative.
That's what's up. And we should be able to support you. And we should be able to put money towards things like that. Because that's what it's about. The government's not making any new land, unless you're over in like China or somewhere where they just dumping like stuff in the ocean like, oh, this is the land. But right here, nobody's building anything new. So owning some land and being able to figure out how do we sit there and put everything we need really in this community. Being able to sit and create opportunities for our kids that are tangible, real opportunities. What I mean by tangible, real opportunities. We grew up in a different time. There was no cell phone. You was lucky if you had cable. You was lucky if you were able to go outside. You was lucky if you were able to go to Saints, go to the Palace, go to Northwest Plaza. Because you were on punishment, because you did something in school. But everything we did, we had to work for. You know, you wanted some money to go to the dance, you got you a job somewhere. You were ironing, babysitting, you were doing something.
Yeah.
Some people are not gonna have those same experiences, you know. Well, you brought me in this world, you owe me. Oh, day I graduated high school, my grandfather took me on the back porch. You know, I thought he was gonna try to make me drink some of that gin or something. I was probably excited. He's like, you know, me and your grandmother are proud of you. You know, you don't live here no more. I just walked across the stage, like less than an hour ago.
Shut up, boy.
Rent is due on the first. You go away to school, you give your grandmother some money. If it ain't over $40, you give us some money. We don't give you nothing. We gave you everything there was to give you.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes generations don't understand, like, you know, the realism of it. There was no go live at the crib. You could live at the crib for a minute, you know, and there was a time limit on that. And, and she'll remind you, got a job? And then you, yeah, I got one, okay, you need to pay some rent. And ain't paying the cable bill neither. So, some of the lessons we learn, everybody's not learning. And it's kind of interesting, but their experience is not our experiences. Our experience is not their experiences. But the one experience we can have is some good line and chain to be able to help cultivate and bring you along. Okay, you want to be this, you want to do that. Here's some of the options. Here's some of the ways we can help and we can assist. But at least having those options so everybody can be able to say there's somebody helping. Nobody should never say there's nobody to help. Because that's almost getting to be like, that's not realistic. Because whether somebody's helping in this room, somebody's helping through the internet, somebody's helping through some webcasts, somebody's helping somewhere. Information is it.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have. If there's any questions, if not,
No questions?
Yeah, I got a question, brother. So, you gave us your history coming from Fayetteville, Missouri, right? And one of the things I've seen in your career, you've been able as a black man to penetrate other cultures, from Shakespeare, opera, theater, etc. Tell us how you did it, because here St. Louis being #2 most segregated city in the country, and you've been able to cross all cultures.
camera still rolling. But I can say this. When I first started, and it goes back to investing in yourself, and image is important. I used to stay in the art loft downtown. And I looked out my window one day and I saw that this magazine company was having a fashion show. So I went over there, you know, put on a nice suit, you know, walked around a little more. Hey, I noticed you don't have any entertainment or nothing like that. Like, nah, we just never really have. Well, I think maybe next time maybe you should have a DJ. I have a company that I think that would be willing to sponsor a DJ. What's the name of the company? Oh, Mindspeak Consulting. No, If Life Was a Sound. If Life Was a Sound is willing to sponsor. Okay. Well, hey, do you still have that contact? Sure do. Here's his information, blah, blah, blah. What's his name? Oh, I think his name is DJ News. So, they actually hired me for free to do this event in front of 1,000 people. Now, I'm not crazy. And my mother sat there and said, you know, that's kind of smart, but I hope you know what you're doing. I think I do. I learned from the best. So I sit and do this gig. Out of that, 6 other gigs come. So most of the people that are going to this stuff it's a very diverse crowd. So different people are just hiring me for stuff. Hey, I'm on the board of this gala. Hey, you want to come? Sure. Hey, we're doing a gala. We saw you at this gala. We want you. Okay, cool. Hey, I got a drummer, by the way. I got a whole band. I got all this stuff. And that's just how it kind of just started and catapulted. But I sponsored myself. I didn't wait for nobody to sit there and come in, hey, you know, I think you're the greatest. We're just going to use you. Nobody didn't know I existed. I mean, it's the same principle like, I guess I can kind of say. I've been doing work with the St. Louis Blues now since October. Like if you go to the pregame, you look on the screen, you see the video and listen to stuff. You see this cat in this blue shirt with these shades on and this bald head. He's looking scruffy today, but that's me playing and doing all that.
Yes, sir.
So now, granted, it's running it's running on a very interesting scale, but it's an investment into a host of some other things. But out of that spawned that I was able to do the NHL All-Star game too.
Yes, sir.
I opened up for Alanis Morissette.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, it's been a hustle. So a lot of times when you get in a room, you need to make the best opportunity of being in the room. It's nice to be able to take selfies and like, yeah, we back here. You know, now it's kind of getting to a point where people they used to like, oh, the business manager can come and we can have people network in the room. Now it's like, no, just shoot your dressing room back and forth. You know, we're right here, you know, no, it's just you. We don't need nobody to know because it's that somebody's kind of quietly getting hip what we kind of doing. We figuring out this room. And I'm still kind of hip because I've got people walking in the room that they don't even know who's in the room that quietly with me.
There you go, brother.
And that's just how you have to run the business. You have to run the game. Game is sold, not told.
That's it.
There it is.
Hallelujah.
Brother,
Amen.
That's it.
So I'm a superhero, and my superpowers are the open-heartedness and an open mind and a contagious enthusiasm that I never hold back on. And I got a chance to experience Comic-Con in 2018 in Chicago. Man, so I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's not something that I would have went to. I just kind of like happened upon it because somebody I knew was attending it, and I was in Chicago for their business. And I was like, I'm abandoning what I came for because this is fun, right? And I really like got into it. And my only regret was that I didn't have on a costume. But I'm coming to your event, and I'll at least wear a cape.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'll at least wear a cape.
And there's a lot of good cons throughout the country. Like one of the ones that I go to is Blurred Con, which is actually in DC. The first year I went, I didn't know what to expect. That was actually my first con, me going to do cosplay. So I'm feeling kind of cool coming through the airport. I'm pulling 2 suitcases, and there ain't no equipment in here. I don't have a horn or nothing. I'm actually excited. I actually can go and enjoy myself. I get there, it's nothing but us just walking around the room, having fun. About 1,500 people. The DJ culture out there is a little different, and I was like, you know, normally I don't get wild by nothing, but the DJ had like a flag going around, had some girls running around carrying his flag. Another person was sitting there doing cheerleading and stuff. They got to doing this one dance where everybody go to the side like this. And I'm like, man, what is this? And I'm like, this is just crazy. But it was just a great experience. Went to a bunch of different workshops talking about sneaker culture, talking about some of everything that was just refreshing to be around. I went back the following year and actually was selected to speak, and that was. I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, man, nobody may come to the workshop, and no guy asked me, what are you gonna talk about? I'm talking about superhero theme music and cosplay and, you know, theater, you know, and guy was sitting up there saying, you're sharing a lot of information. Why? Well, because again, you live here, I live there. You don't bother me, and I should be excited to see you grow and do something.
Yes, sir.
You know, but there's also WakandaCon in Chicago.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
it's
sir.
Wakanda. That's coming up soon. There's a lot of different things that are available that are cool to go to, but believe it or not, the same stuff we experience as business owners, the same stuff cosplayers experience when they go to other cons. You know, you'd be surprised. I mean, so again, that's why it's always important for us to create a very sound and secure infrastructure that we support our own,
Yes, sir.
be able to build with not just, and keep it welcoming for everybody. This is not just something that's just for us, it's for everybody. Whether you're part of the LGBTQ culture, whether you're part of Latino culture, whomever, it's for everybody. But you know, there is a high emphasis on African American because it's number one, it's Black History Month. But every day for us.
Yes, sir.
That's just
I
every day.
I really enjoyed like everything that you said, and I just want you to know that I got a lot out of this tonight. as I do every night, and I want to thank Dr. Lance and Global 1000 for bringing what I think are dynamic speakers into the community so that we can learn and grow. My favorite thing that you said was something to the fact that if you're not comfortable with that person's table, go build your own table. You may sit alone for a while, but they'll come. My question to you is I've done that metaphorically in my life, built my own table, and sometimes I feel like I'm sitting at my table for a long time and I'm wondering if anyone's going to come. So my question to you is, when that road gets tough and that night gets long, has there been an individual, a book, any type of like personal development, something that you could like touch, listen to, read that has really been important to you?
I always go back to like my grandma, and I was only a child, so a lot of times, you know, when I go places, they would just drop me off and you would just go. You know, I was a nerdy kid, so I didn't have like a gang of friends, and everybody else that was running around, and everybody was, you know, like, we going here, we gonna do what we gonna do, we gonna hang out, blah blah blah. So she would always take like a little handkerchief with a little bless oil on it, you know, put it, stick it in my pocket, say, you ain't ever alone, God is with you, and just keep going. So, you know, just always know, even though it may seem like you're alone, God is with you.
Right.
So you never alone.
Yes, sir.
Talk, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions for DJ Miller? Let's get a round of applause. We appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
You're a real story. People want to see transparency, and we appreciate that. Any announcements on any events coming up or anything before we bring on Bishop? All righty, Bishop. Yes, go ahead.
I have an event coming up. It's on February the 29th at 6 p.m. It's called Sip and Speak, and we're going to talk about normalizing mental health and the programs that Queen of Resilience offer. So it's going to be at Fresh and Co. on February 29th at 6 p.m. The tickets are $10.
Also, well, not necessarily I don't want my client, she just left the room. Rain Restaurant is having a rollout with Tesla. It's an event that's happening at Rain Restaurant. It's a soft open. And so if anyone that's, just letting you know, you're gonna see some stuff online, show up pretty soon. But it's basically, it's $75 to play, but you get a chance to win a weekend with Tesla as you come through. So we just confirmed that today. We're happy about it. So it's coming pretty soon. So if you guys want to definitely part of that, do that. Clap.
Any other? All right, Bishop.
I see DJ trying to tip out, and I'll let him tip out. He puts his finger up. You know, he's a church guy.
I gotta go to the rehearsal.
Yes, he did. But one of the things he did, Doc tried to pull it out. We've been in several different venues, and DJ is the DJ, and everybody at the event don't look like him. It's sold out. It's packed. And everybody's having a good time. Okay? Having a good time. And, you know, the song says that what God has for you, wait a minute now, it's for you. Our brother here has sponsored our food before. He brought some of his tasty treats in before, been to his restaurant, and he's launching this and he's launching that. Again, what God has for you is for you. It's about purpose, knowing your purpose, and then about His timing, set timing. And you really don't want to have one without the other, my brothers and my sisters. Now let me give you a scripture, and we're going to take this picture because it's 7:30 now. But in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, it says, and we know. Anybody help me finish that?
All
things work together for what?
The good.
For them that what?
Love the Lord.
Love of God.
And are called according to His what?
His purpose.
Okay. We got some knowledgeable folks in here. And we know. I just stopped by this evening to reaffirm that you know. You know.
Oh.
You know. Larry, you know.
Yes, sir.
Come on, baby girl. You know. 25, you know. can deny all you want. You can act a fool all you want. You can be grown as you want to be, but you know you know. You know, you know you know.
Yes, sir.
And we know. Yeah. I had a professor said you really don't know until, amen, you can share with somebody else. Come on. See, there's the step up. There's the next level. Come on there. See, when you know, you'll tell somebody else. Come on there. Yeah. You can't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, in the Bible it says, fire shut up in my bones. Come on here. Yeah. Come on here. I can't keep it to myself.
Keep it to myself.
When I wake up in the morning, it's my passion.
Yes, sir.
When I go to bed at night, I can't think about it now.
Yes, sir.
Tell them.
And we know.
We know.
But you know.
You know. Noon talked about the different quarters in business, and he talked about this first quarter was sometimes a little lacking because you're coming out of all of the holidays, you know. And we got one coming up on Friday. Come on here. And you know, come on here. Y'all know what Friday is. Come on here.
Yeah, man.
You know what Friday is.
Yeah. Candies and teddy bears.
Come on now.
That's
And you know. Come on. I stopped by this evening to encourage somebody that even if you don't have a Valentine, come on here. If nobody said, I want you to be mine, God says that you're his. Come on here. I just thought I'd remind you that you know you somebody's Valentine. You know you special. Come on here.
Yes, sir.
From the inside out and the outside in, you know
Yes, sir.
that God has brought you safe thus far. Yeah, you know.
Yep.
I was trying to feel sorry for myself, amen. And I play these little games with me that at Christmas time I don't need nothing. You know, I'm old, and so I got everything I need, everything I want. So people give me Christmas presents, you know, ties and watches and pajamas and all that stuff. But sometimes, most of the time, I take my Christmas presents and I just hide them around the house. I don't even open them. So if I ever have a bad day, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go open me a present. Come on here. Amen. I'm going to, the scriptures, come on here. The scriptures say that David encouraged himself. Hey, come on. Every now and then, amen, the preacher ain't going to be around to encourage yourself. You got to pat your own self on the back. Because you know that God, come on here, who sits high, but looks low, come on here, he's got you. You are his Valentine. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. To me. Hallelujah. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, sir.
To me. The people else love me. I love me. God loves me.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hey.
Woo. And we know.
You know.
Yeah, you know.
The organ and the drums.
That God's got you. Come on, can't nobody do you like Jesus.
No, sir.
He's my friend. He's my all in all, my boo.
No.
Yeah. Now look, we're going to stand in front of the flat screen, take a picture, and then y'all can network.